Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Cracku. In this video, we'll be looking at one commonly asked question about students who have low academics. Many of them are actually worried about whether they have good chances of getting into an IIM. And I prepared a list of 5 questions which are commonly asked to me, especially by students with low academics. So let us go through them. The first question that many people ask me is slightly rhetorical. They ask me, is it actually worth preparing for CAT with low academics? Now, the answer is quite clear. There is good and there is bad. In an ideal situation, you would have good academics. You would have, say, 90 plus in 10th, 12th, and maybe 85 plus in your undergraduation with, say, 3-year work ex. This, in my opinion, is the perfect profile. If you have this kind of a profile, it is very good. If you don't have it, there is not much that you can do. Your profile is already done. Your 10th is already done. Your 12th is already done. Most likely, your graduation is also either done or you're in your final year of graduation. So you can't change much about it. Whatever you can change, I would recommend you to put in effort. If you're in the last semester or last 2 semesters, try to increase it as much as you can because it has a weightage. But other than that, there is very little that you can do. Now, the bad news is that there are some doors which are closed. It is nearly impossible for you to get into colleges like, say, Bangalore or IIM Indore or IIM Kozhikode with the current criteria of selection, or you have to do exceptionally well in CAT. I think Bangalore has a special criteria for students who come in the top 10 of CAT. This I have to check, but I think that is true for IIM Bangalore, where they shortlist the people who come in the top 10 of CAT. So if you do exceptionally well, probably you have a chance of getting a shortlist. But other than that, IIM Kozhikode has strict criteria. I think if your score is less than 60 in your graduation or 10th or 12th, you are probably not eligible for IIM Kozhikode. Similarly, for IIM Indore, I think the criteria is so high. The weightage that they give for their academic profile of 10th and 12th and undergraduation is so high that it is virtually impossible for somebody with bad academics to get into any of these colleges. However, having said that, there are other very good colleges. IIM Lucknow, IIM Calcutta, and even IIM Ahmedabad to an extent. IIM Ahmedabad shortlist people who have come in the top 50 of CAT in their respective stream. So if you're an engineer, you have to be in the top 50 engineers. If you're a doctor, you have to be in the top 50 doctors, and so on. Now, that is very difficult. That is true. But getting into IIM Ahmedabad itself is difficult. So at least what I essentially mean to say is that the door is not closed for you. So at least some of the colleges, some of the very good colleges like IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Calcutta, and IIM Lucknow, all of them, there is a good chance if you do very well in CAT, you can get into these institutes. However, some institutes, like I already told you, they are very difficult to actually get into. Can I get IIM calls from IIM with low academics? Now, the way you have to look at it, if you're a GEM, that is a general engineer male, is that if you want to get into an institute like, say, IIM Ahmedabad, you would need a CAT percentile with a very good profile of, say, 99.7. Now, if your academics are bad, then you would need to get 99.8. If your academics are very bad, then you need 99.95. Now, the door is definitely open in the institutes that I mentioned, but it is definitely more difficult for you as compared to somebody with a very good profile. But that is something that I expect you to take it in your stride, because your profile or your academics are poor for a particular reason. It is quite possible that you had some difficulties in your 10th or 12th or whatever is the reason, but somebody else who has done well in their 10th or 12th deserves to get a slightly better shot. That is basically how I would look at it, but it is not all over for you. You still have your destiny in your own hands. For that person, probably he'll need 99.7. For you, you would need 99.8. So it is slightly more difficult for you, but in my opinion, that is slightly fair. Now, similarly, for people from other categories, for non-engineers or for females, the criteria respectively will also change. Will low academics affect my summer internships and final placements? It will definitely affect your summer internships. That again I can tell you. Again, it is not ideal, but it is again the way it is. But again, everything is not over. For example, if you can show very good academic profile, then you will get shortlist from many companies. Certain companies are completely closed. For example, if you go into a very good institute like, say, IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore or Calcutta, you get a lot of companies come. The companies are essentially segregated across different sectors. Consults, finance companies, marketing companies, and so on. If your academics are not good, you will probably not receive a shortlist from the consulting companies. But you will, if your if your other achievements are good, if your profile is well diverse, if you are showing some spikes in your career, say you have done very well in your 10th, or you have done very well in your 12th, or in any competitive exam you have done very well, then you get a shortlist from finance companies, you get shortlist from marketing companies. So even if some companies you won't get shortlist, just based on the fact that your academics are low, you will it is not that you are blacklisted by all the companies. Many of the other companies are definitely open. And in my opinion, getting into an IIM is definitely more of a bottleneck as compared to getting shortlist, because nearly 70-80% of the companies don't really discriminate on the basis of your academic profile, on the basis of how much you scored in your 12th, for example. There will be around 15 to 20 companies which will definitely not shortlist you, but that I think is quite fine. You still have option with around 80% of the companies. And if you do well in your IIM, if you do well in your MBA, you will definitely get shortlist from all the companies when they come for final placements. Summer placements happen in the first 3-4 months of if you are joining, but your final placements happen at the end of your term in IIM. And there, the only thing that really matters is how well you have done in IIM. So again, it won't really matter much. Internships might get affected a little, but not by a lot. But final placements are completely open. They're mostly dependent on how well you have done in your IIM 2 years. Is it necessary for someone with low academics to get WorkX? I would definitely recommend you to get WorkX, because if you are entering an interview, which is actually the last question, how do you justify low academics in top B schools in PI? Now, say your academics are low and you are entering, say your undergraduation is low and you are entering the interview hall. Now, you have nothing to show for it. You can't really say that, okay, that was the past, that happened many years ago, right now I'm a different person. Now, for you to actually justify that, if you have WorkX of 2-3 years, you can actually tell them that I have done very well in my job, I have done very well in my career. Yes, I was not very mature in my undergraduation, or yes, I was not very mature in my 12th, but I have changed. Now, that kind of a redemption story has a lot of bias. I myself, my academics were not very good, but I had WorkX and I was able to justify it quite well. I actually gave explanations and I was very upfront as to why my academics were not good. I told them very clearly that was the first time I was staying away from my parents and I was immature. There was a lot of freedom that was given to me and I didn't use it well. But I also convinced them that that was the mistake that I've done and I have never repeated that mistake. And I was able to show a few specific examples where I made a mistake, but I never repeated the mistake. And again, I used some examples that I got when I was working. I told them that this responsibility was given to me and I have delivered it very well. So if you are able to justify that whatever you have done was a mistake, you are immature, but you have changed, that will help you in justifying it very easily, very smoothly. That I think is a good strategy. A bad strategy is giving excuses. If you say, for example, I could have easily said that, okay, I felt sick at that time, or I didn't understand, or something or the other, which was not my fault. That doesn't show leadership. And IIMs are looking for somebody who is a leader. And leaders should be quite open to accepting their mistakes and also ensuring that that mistake is not repeated. Those are the kind of candidates that top IIMs would be interested in selecting. So based on that also, it makes a lot of sense for you to actually own up to your mistakes if you have done poorly in any of your 10th or 12th or undergraduation. And you should also try to convince them with, again, specific examples as to why that mistake will not be repeated. If you're able to do it, you will definitely, that won't matter much. They don't really take it they won't take it personally. They would not really judge you based on the base of it. If you're able to justify it, you can convert a weakness into a strength. So this is basically about it. The summary is some institutes, it is difficult for you to get a call, but many of the institutes, it is not, the door is not closed. You have to just perform better than your peers with good profiles. That is the first thing. Second, it won't matter much in final placements. It won't really matter at all in your final placements if you get into a good IIM. How you do in IIM will matter. It will matter to some extent in the summer internships, but they also don't matter so much. For you, actually getting a degree from IIM is a lot more valuable than where you have done your summer internship in. So that doesn't matter much. How you justify in PI, in my opinion, you should own up to it. You should act mature. You should tell them that something went wrong and you have made a mistake, you are immature, or something else happened. You should not give excuses, own up to it, and also convince them that this will never be repeated. If you are able to do it, then it shouldn't be any issue in any personal interview. All the best. And on this note, I would tell you that if you're preparing for CAT, definitely do check out Cracku mocks and Cracku daily targets. They are the best resources that you will have to prepare well for CAT. In daily target, we give one test in quant, one test in LRDA, and one test in verbal, all of them with detailed video solutions. And they are taken by thousands of students every single day. They are extremely good. You should definitely check it out.
Google search Cracku free CAT mocks. Click on the first link. You can attempt 3 latest CAT mocks in the actual exam interface. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis, percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your all-India performance. Click on the solution to get video solutions from our expert faculty.